Planning is going to teach you how to move through the storm without losing yourself. It is going to give you capacity to deal with the storm. It may not prevent the storm. Welcome to Fourth Trimester Voices, the podcast where we delve deep into the fourth trimester. I'm your host, Dr. Choa. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fourth Trimester Voices. I'm your host, Dr. Choa. So today I want to start with a story. I know that stories are how most of us actually understand medicine and how a lot of us can understand certain concepts. So I had a client about 1 year ago. I took care of her during her pregnancy. She came to some of the events that I host in Atlanta, and I also took care of her postpartum. But one thing that I was so proud about her is that she really took the time to plan out her postpartum. So while she was pregnant, she got all the education. She took all the childbirth education classes. She came to my events. She got the pelvic floor therapist, did all the exercises, met with a lactation consultant, met with some mental health workers. She really did everything right, paid attention to her nutrition. She exercised. She had a support line planned. She had planned out her family who's helping. She did not skip any steps. Unfortunately, she gave birth, and her birth story was traumatic. It wasn't a perfect situation. She went home, and then she returned and was readmitted for postpartum preeclampsia. For a lot of women, that moment feels devastating. You put everything in place, you plan, you do everything that you have to, but still you suffer complications of birth, complications postpartum. And it brings up a lot of thoughts. For a lot of women, they may say, like, what was the point of all of that? Why did this still happen to me? Did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? Those questions are incredibly common, and they are deeply, deeply human. But I want to tell you the rest of her story that people often don't see, and the rest of her story that I had to point out to her, because in that moment, she's thinking, man, I did everything, but how am I still here? Her recovery was quick. She stabilized fast. Her blood pressures came under control. After she went into the hospital, got the medication, she was discharged home, not on any blood pressure medications. She was up and moving again quickly. She traveled. She returned to her life and routines sooner than most people would expect after getting readmitted to the hospital. And that didn't happen because she avoided complications. That happened because she was prepared for complications. When symptoms started, she did not dismiss them. She called me and said, I think something is wrong. I don't know what's going on with my body, but I feel like something is wrong. And that prompted me to go evaluate her and realize that her blood pressures were up. She did not minimize what her body was telling her. She did not wait to see if it would pass. She had access to care. She had a doula, she had her OB, she had a primary care doctor, and she had me. She had people around her who understood urgency. When the emergency started, she did not freeze. She moved. And that distinction is everything. I wanted to record this episode because I see quite a number of women who follow this harmful narrative. I see it play out all the time in postpartum care. And the narrative says that If you prepare well enough, nothing bad will happen to you. And if something goes wrong, you must have failed to prepare. If you had exercised, if you had eaten well, if you had went to all your appointments and still had the complications, what was the point? What was the point in doing all of that? We are going to tear down that narrative because that narrative is wrong. And worse, it puts blame on women in moments when they need support, clarity, and care. So today, we're going to reframe what postpartum planning actually means. Planning is not a guarantee. Just because you got the pelvic floor therapist, your chiropractor, acupuncturist, does not mean that you may not face complications such as tearing or complications such as C-section pain. It doesn't guarantee that. It is not a force field. It is not a moral reward. Planning is not proof that you were good or disciplined enough. Planning does not make you immune to biology. Pregnancy and postpartum are very complex physiological states. Hormones are shifting rapidly. Your body is shifting rapidly. Blood volume, your organs are under stress. Inflammation fluctuates. Underlying conditions can change, worsen, or show up. You can do everything right. You can plan, you can see all the people, and you can still have complications. And that does not mean that you are a failure. This is medicine. This is the imperfect world that we live in. Planning is about response, not prevention alone. Planning is about knowing what to do when things don't go right or when things don't go according to script. As an emergency room physician, this is how I think all the time. I am always 10 steps ahead of people. When somebody comes into the emergency department and they're having chest pain, I'm already seeing their future. I'm already seeing what I'm doing. And when those labs come back or that EKG comes back, I am already thinking down the line, what does that mean for this person today? What does that mean for this person next week? What does that mean for this person's life? We plan because panic costs time, and time costs lives. We rehearse worst case scenario all the time so that when chaos shows up, we already know our next move. My mind is crazy. I am constantly thinking about everything. I'm thinking about, hey, if we lose power today, or if something happens to the world, what am I going to do? I'm thinking about where my generator is. I'm thinking about where my extra food is. Do I have extra water? My brain functions in this mode. Now, some people may say that must be really anxiety provoking for you to do that. You know what's anxiety provoking? For me to be in the midst of chaos and I'm looking for things, in the midst of chaos and I'm trying to figure out things. That causes me anxiety. Planning causes me calm because I've planned out however many scenarios and I know how to act. Now, even if that scenario doesn't play out and another scenario plays out, I still have the tools that I need to navigate that. Postpartum planning works the exact same way. It's not about controlling the outcome. It is about preserving capacity in moments of stress. This is really an important distinction. Most women think planning means control. Control over their bodies, control over their mind, control over how their birth works out, control over their postpartum and their recovery. But postpartum planning is not about control. Postpartum planning is about capacity. Capacity to recognize warning signs, capacity to pause and to look, to evaluate, and to move through that. Capacity to ask for help. Capacity to know when something is an emergency or not. Capacity to move quickly when something feels off. Capacity to access care without barriers. Capacity to advocate when you are tired, hormonal, or overwhelmed. When capacity is high, outcomes improve, even when complications occur. And that is exactly what happened to my patient. She had postpartum preeclampsia. Postpartum preeclampsia is one of the most misunderstood postpartum complications. Many moms think that it only happens during pregnancy or delivery, but it's not true. It can show up days or even up to 2-3 weeks after birth. Symptoms can include headaches, vision, chest pain, shortness of breath, elevated blood pressure, a general sense that something is not right. The danger is not the condition itself. The danger is in the delay. Delay because women are told discomfort is normal. Delay because symptoms are minimized. Delay because access of care feels confusing or intimidating. Delay because the only planned follow-up is a 6-week appointment. This 6-week visit was never designed to catch complications. It was designed as a mere check-in. But too many providers, doctors, too many moms treat it like a safety net. Most complications are occurring before that appointment, and many happen soon after discharge. Too many women are left navigating all of these serious symptoms alone. This gap is where planning matters most. So let's talk about my client. She was educated, still educated herself more. She knew which symptoms were non-negotiable. She knew that postpartum headaches are not always just sleep deprivation. She understood that something feels off and it deserved attention. But she also had access. She had relationships with her doctors. She knew who to contact. She had doctors who took her seriously. She did not have to convince someone that she was sick enough. And she had the support. She had someone help her make decisions. She had someone help her get care. She had someone who validated her instincts instead of questioning them. That combination changed everything. I want to say this clearly, especially for women who are listening to this show today. And you may have planned carefully, but you still struggled. Planning does not prevent the storm. And if you're pregnant and you're listening to this, I want you to understand, as you are going through your planning for postpartum, it is not going to take away the storm. Planning is going to teach you how to move through the storm without losing yourself. It is going to give you capacity to deal with the storm. It may not prevent the storm. It is going to shorten the time that it takes to act. You will experience symptoms, and instead of waiting, trying to navigate, trying to think through, you're going to act and seek out care. It is going to reduce fear-driven paralysis. You're scared. I know you're scared. But you cannot sit still. You have to act. Planning protects your body while your mind is overwhelmed. This is not failure. This is success. Listen, if you're pregnant or newly postpartum and you are currently listening to today's episode, here is what I want you to take away. You are not planning because you are anxious. You are not planning because you expect that nothing will go wrong or nothing bad will happen to you. You are planning because your life and your health depend on it. Ask yourself these questions. Who are you going to call when something feels off? Who are you going to call when you need help? How will you navigate those symptoms that you do not understand? How are you going to have access to the resources that you need to troubleshoot a particular situation? Do your doctors listen? Does your midwife listen? Do you have a doula who you get along with, who you can call, who can help you access a very complicated healthcare system? Those are not fearful questions. These are protective ones. If you're listening and you're thinking, I did all of that, and I still ended up back in the hospital, I want you to hear this. Your plan worked. It caught the problem early. It reduced harm. It helped you recover faster. It protected your future. The goal was never perfection. The goal was safety. Postpartum planning is not about eliminating complications. It's not about eliminating uncertainty. It is not about being alone inside it. Because here's the truth. Healing does not come from avoiding every complication. Healing comes from being seen, believed, and supported when complications occur. And that is what planning actually gives you. If you're thinking, I don't even know where to start with planning, stop right there. This is why I do what I'm doing. You have this podcast. I have created an entire course for you if you're pregnant or in your early postpartum. It's called What to Expect Next, Your Fourth Trimester Blueprint. If you're looking for it, you can go to my Instagram, which is Dr. Choa, and click on my link tree, or you can go to courses.drchoa.com. I have freebies. I have free workbooks for you that you can have. I have a free preview. I have lots of YouTube episodes. You have everything that you need to plan. Don't let fear paralyze you. We do not need more pressure on women to do everything right. We need better systems. We need better education. We need better support. And until the system catches up, planning is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Not to control your postpartum period, but to provide capacity to survive it, to recover from it, and to reclaim your story. My name is Dr. Choa. I'm the host of Fourth Trimester Voices. I'm Dr. Choa, and it's been lovely talking with you all today. Take care.